Core TV News, expanding your view.
Yes, we have had the outcome of the election where Ben Rauf Aregbesola was declared as the winner. You will agree with me that on the ballot papers, only the symbol of the party, which is the PDP, appeared on it, not the photograph of Senator Yola Omishori or his name. So because of this, I want to take it that he is just a symbol of that political party. It will therefore be very wrong to make any comment outside the political party he represents. And 24 hours is too short to conclude the consultation and come out with a definite position statement. So as it is, we tend to get a feedback from our polling booth agents. We tend to get reports from the SSS, the international observers, the police, and even from INEC. All these will be reviewed in such a way that whatever position we are coming out with will be the position that everybody in PDP and the electorate will be happy about.
Welcome back. We've been discussing the Osun 2014, the agony of defeat and the joy of victory with Funsho Ologunde, State Vice Chairman, APC Lagos West, and CG Bomi Adebi, the Public Affairs Analyst. Now, let me come back on this note. Your party has been in the place of defeat before, recently with the Ekiti election.
Yes.
And you've tested both sides. Now, how does it feel to be defeated in an election, especially the election of the kind of magnitude of a governorship election?
Well, if you are defeated in an election where you knew, you were convinced you did not do well, it's very painful. You feel extremely bitter that someone has stolen your mandate. So the situation you find yourself, that we found ourselves on previous occasions in Edo State, in Osun State, in Ekiti State, when our mandate was stolen, was bitterness, but still courageous. We didn't lose hope because we were convinced we needed to fight harder and establish the point. Not because of ourselves, but for posterity, in the interest of this country, so that it does not become the order of the day or the rule of the land that if you are in charge at the federal government level, you can do what you like with people's mandate.
Okay, now quickly,
in Ekiti State, you recollect that our governor, swiftly, within 24 hours, Governor Fayemi congratulated Fayoshe, the winner of that election, because he believed at that time that he lost in a fair manner. But subsequently, we found out that there were a lot of gray areas that needed to be sorted out, and that's why we went to the tribunal.
Okay, so now you have victory in Osun.
Well, in victory, to us it is magnanimity to bring along the supposed losers, because to us in Osun State, and each time we won an election, it's always been that the people won, and not particularly that the APC, our party, or our candidate won, that the people won. Because in an election, if there were 100 people that voted, and 51 people voted one way, 49 people voted the other way. The 49 people that voted the other way also contributed towards electing the person with 51 votes. And so that is the way that we always see our victory, that the other parties, our opponents, were also part of the victory.
So has it erased the pain of the past?
Well, the pain can never be permanent. If you were robbed and you got justice, the pain will disappear. If you have a headache and you use a painkiller, it relieves you, and you get up and start walking around and doing other things.
Okay, let's take it a little further with CG Bomi. Now, you analyze the election, the processes and all that came out from the election in Osun. And we asked a very fundamental question before we went on break. The presence of the security agencies, and I was asking you categorically, has it helped in giving a free, fair, and acceptable election?
Like I said the other time, yes, to some extent. Because we can remember in Edo State, when Adams Oshiomhole contested, that there were security personnel on ground, and after the election, the party, as at that time, said there were minimal cases and that the presence of security personnel helped to restore law and order. So it depends on the perspective we're looking at it. But I would also like to say that no matter the success we want to achieve, for me, what is constitutionally right and what is obtainable in sane societies are what we should try and propagate in Nigeria. We can always have situations whereby there is a backup plan, there is a preventive measure, there are troops on ground, but not just throwing them out there. Because if we're going to look at both sides of the coin, in as much as some people will be laid back because of the presence of security personnel, some people also will think, since these people are here to protect us, let's go out there. But when it comes to a situation whereby people that are supposed to protect are wavering to one or tend to go to one side, because we've seen in Ekiti and Osun states that the other parties' representatives were being picked, and I don't know if the opposition parties in both states have also their representatives picked, but nobody came on air to affirm that. But in those two states, people have come out publicly to say they were being harassed.
Yeah, officials were picked, but I think the voting public were not prevented from doing their votes. In fact, we've received reports of massive turnout in Osun.
Yes.
But isn't that massive turnout that resulted in Osun election, isn't it as a result of feeling protected by the security that the people came out to vote?
I would like to say that I don't think it is, because the massive turnout, that the war for the massive turnout was won at the conference, the press conference before the election. I followed it. That was not in Osun. But when the Inspector General of Police was saying people should go back home, you don't have anything to do after you have voted, you should go back to your homes, people stood up to say they have to protect their votes. And the INEC chairman reiterated their position by saying, as far as you don't constitute any form of nuisance around that place, you don't have any reason
you could stay.
You could stay.
Okay.
And we could see in all the broadcasts that were on here that people actually stayed, and when people were counting the votes, people were actually recording all those things. So they did not leave. So I could say if that one had now happened and that threat was already out there that in as much as you have finished your voting, you're supposed to go back home. I will tell you that maybe some irregularities will have taken place.
Feeling secured, Funcho, the people in Osun, to a large extent, the public think they felt secured, and that was why they came out to vote.
No, they did not feel secured. They came out in defiance of militarization. That if you could invade our state with so many security men, a large number of whom were masked.
The security men meant to protect.
Yes, because they were seeing that strange phenomenon for the first time in the history of their lives.
But isn't that an irony?
To have such a large number of people to intimidate them. So these people now said, now if you feel you could harass and force us to stay indoors, we will then come out and defy you. People went out to defy the military presence.
But I think to a large extent from reports.
I am talking as one of the leaders of APC, and I know why I'm speaking now the mindset of a lot of APC members, a lot of people in Osun State, because they complained to our party members and they were worried.
But were they harassed in any way? Were they stopped on election day? Was anyone harassed or prevented from?
Look, the team of the Shopee team, led by the SSS, into Osun State with masks, in black t-shirts, drove into Osun State and were firing indiscriminately everywhere into the air. People were scared. By the time they recover from that shock, they say, so you are up to something evil, we will all come and kill us.
So that was what happened?
Of course, that's why it was good, because the militarization that they thought would intimidate people from coming out to vote actually spurred them to now come out massively, and it helped the election process. So it was an evil design that had a positive impact on democracy.
But all right, taking your statement that the design had a positive impact, but on the election day itself, yes, the military helped to keep everyone in check. We didn't hear of any issue, ballot snatching, fighting, crisis here and there. Isn't it the presence of the military that made everyone stay out of trouble?
Don't forget that apart from those forces that were in uniform, they also had their members in mufti, milling around among the people. And they must have taken back the message to their officers that if they were not going to foment trouble, they should take it easy and allow people to go about their normal lives. So people succeeded in carving for themselves freedom.
Okay, before I go to CG Bomi, these allegations were traded between, ironically, the other parties were not involved in this trade blame except your party and the PDP. That there was this allegation that has been traded. This same thing you said, the PDP also accused APC of having thugs. In fact, making specific reference to the OAS boys in Osun.
OAS boys are not a militarized wing. They were not trained to carry arms. They were not trained to carry arms. If we accused the federal government of militarizing Osun State, there were facts everywhere. There were thugs given arms by the government, driving in government vehicles. Could anybody ask the PDP to provide photographs or video recordings of OES people carrying arms? But they needed to provide an answer to the accusation that the APC was levying against them.
Okay, let's move now to the electoral body itself, looking at INEC's conduct. I think INEC, to you, what do you think? INEC should be patting itself at the back if no one is patting it, but though we've seen congratulations coming from everywhere. All the parties involved in the election are giving INEC a kudos. Now, what will you say that has for the political processes in Nigeria?
I think it's a good omen for us in Nigeria. And I think INEC has been improving over time. From Anambra, where they came out to even say some of their own staff compromised. That's transparency at its best. They didn't cover it up, and they said they were going to investigate and also apply some appropriate measures. That said and done, they went to Ekiti, and we could see that the problem in Ekiti, or the problem that anybody could have come up with, or accusations that anybody could have come up with, has nothing to do with INEC. The only thing that emanated from Ekiti election is the fact that this militarization of a thing to picking up of other parties, the other party stalwarts. Then you could talk about harassment and some other things. Then to Osun, INEC they did their job. So if we are saying or to really be objective about INEC, I'm not saying they're where they're supposed to be, but I think they have been improving over time. And I think if we can get to control and prevent every other kind of issues that has to do with elections, and just leave it to INEC to handle theirs, let everybody handle their own responsibility well, I think 2015 will just be a good one.
All right. On same INEC issue, Funsho, let me ask you this: do you think that responsibilities of INEC should be expanded to? Since we've seen your party also commended and congratulated INEC for doing a good job.
When?
The APC congratulated INEC. Arabia Shola commended INEC for doing a good job.
Wait
Konkoso congratulated INEC for doing a good job. These are your...
If anybody has congratulated INEC, advise them to wait until the tribunal processes on Ekiti.
No, we're talking about Osun election.
No, because the conduct of INEC is still the conduct of INEC. Either in Ekiti or in Osun, INEC has seriously compromised, and the tribunal process in Ekiti is going to expose all the intrigues and the evil plans that INEC had against
but your party said INEC did well in Osun.
Wait until after all.
Let's zero down on Osun the election.
Governor Fayemi congratulated Fayoshi within 24 hours of the election, but then the APC sat down, studied the processes, and went to the tribunal, went to court. And so all I'm saying is, people could congratulate INEC based on their the little knowledge of what they saw within 24 hours of the election. But let the details be exposed, and then Nigerians will see that we have a serious problem ahead of us in 2015. Okay, so if INEC is not...
So what will be your assessment of INEC in the conduct of the Osun governorship?
I am not in a position to assess their conduct because they compromised in Ekiti. And
no, but if I compromised yesterday and today I did a good job, shouldn't I be commended?
No. Look, because I'm an active player on the field, so I've been able to see what INEC did in Ekiti. What they did in Osun State is even there for everybody to see. Why was there such dilly-dallying in declaring results? Why was this delay for so much? I mean, for so long?
Is that not probity?
It is not probity. It is not probity at all. If time will tell, and I insist, time will tell. It is not probity. There is actually no good basis to congratulate INEC for their performance in Osun.
No good basis?
No good basis, because INEC did not want that election to end up the way it did.
No, but before the election, a day before the election,
yes.
The INEC boss himself said that Osun election cannot be rigged.
Just wait.
And the election came out, and we see people say the election has not been rigged.
Before the Ekiti election.
Okay, let's take this call from Mike, and then we'll come back to you. Mike is calling us from Lagos. Can you hear us, Mike?
Good morning.
Good morning, Mike. Go ahead with your contribution.
Yes. Gentlemen, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You see, there is something I want to say concerning the issue of election in the state. People are congratulating Mr. President. I don't know what they are congratulating Mr. President for. What are they congratulating Mr. President for? Is it for conducting a free and fair election in the state? We don't have to congratulate Mr. President. We have to congratulate the people of Osun State. The people of Osun State came out en masse to vote for Aregbesola, and they stand by their vote. The security, if you look at the security in Osun State, if you watch everything there, you know that the federal government tried to show their power there. But it's because the two state people remain resolute, steady fast to protect their vote. The federal government only came there to intimidate people. Okay, my friend that comes in 2015, if you can deploy such amount of security forces to Osun State, in 2015, what is going to happen? What is going to happen in 2015? So, the issue of deploying military and everywhere in Osun State is not going to help us. It's not going to help us in our future elections.
All right, thank you, Mike. You've made your point there. And Mike is saying the presidency should not be congratulated by the people of Osun State. Yeah. Now, will you relate that to, because the general observation there is there's a great improvement from Ekiti, and INEC should be commended for doing a good job. But you are taking a different position now.
Yes, I take a different position.
And why are you taking a different position? Because you seem not to have pointed areas where INEC did wrong, 1, 2, 3, so they shouldn't be commended.
No, yes, because if I do that on air, that will be sub judice, because the matter is before a tribunal.
No, but you didn't go to the tribunal in Osun.
What?
Okay.
Wait, because Osun APC, Governor Agony has indicated he will go to court.
Not on INEC conduct.
Forget about it. They are not going to tell you about the details.
All right. Okay.
Yes, I'm not here to disclose details of his grounds for going to court.
Of what your party is going to do.
No. When the matter gets to court, it becomes a public knowledge.
For public consumption.
Oh, yes.
All right, but your position not to congratulate INEC, that aside, let me take this to Sijibomi. The caller, Mike from Lagos, just said the presidency shouldn't be congratulated. I think it's coming from the angle that some people have congratulated the presidency for making the election peaceful.
I think
and he said the people of Osun rather should be congratulated.
So many times, you know, when it has to do with politics, we public analysts have to be very careful, because they see you affiliating more with, especially when you want to be objective about your position. But to be factual, I don't think the president has to be congratulated for anything. We tend to give our right.
Okay, let's see if Wale has the same position. Wale is calling from Ekiti before you conclude on that. Can you hear us, Wale? Yeah, go ahead if you can hear us.
Hello.
Hello, good morning, and thank you for joining us.
The man talking is noisy. Hello, good morning.
And he sent his greetings to you.
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Wale, I'm afraid you have to call back. It seems like we lost the audio there. Before he calls back, you were
So I was
reacting
saying,
to that.
there's some things that are just basic. They're just basic in any kind of government you run. You hold the people. They are not add-ons. They are not special treatment. So sometimes you see even our political elite, governors, chairmen of local governments, we've tried to address this thing over time. They do as little as, drainages, and it's over the news. These are just basic. The reason why you saw to lead your people, maybe as a president or as a governor, is to protect the welfare and security of the people, which is very key. And what's their welfare? What's their security? These are the things they need to know. Their security, their welfare are the things that they should enjoy.
Okay, let's
Right
take
to
this
vote,
call
right for
from.
their votes to be counted.
Let's take this call from Shegun. Shegun, good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Hello, we can hear you. Go ahead with your contribution.
Okay. Thank you so much. I really commend this effort. Very, very nice. And it will give more of our youth than the group to understand who is having in our society. But I want to comment on the last election. As a matter of fact, the national performance was good. This LG voters. He was here to intimidate LG voters. And I am telling you, the victory of our is just designed. And I still support every voter, every electorate in the city. But they don't feel that on their ground. As regards the election, we gave them the kind of declarations for that last election. And in all sincerity, what you connect with, either they are having their ambitions, they want, by all means, they wanted to be sure that PPP are reduced in the judgment. But this time around, with elections, they just put everything that are people like the body. If they can easily take anything, and do it, that's why they don't surrender. And the third is, the other that they about to connect, they were suffered. This was the power that asked them to continue with the capital today. So for this situation, they were ready to announce the other candidates as a matter of fact. So the point now is this program is good. I commend it and I appreciate the effort. But the point
All right, Shegun, you've made your point so that you don't keep repeating yourself. He is of the opinion that that commendation shouldn't come because there are issues with the election. That's Shegun's position, calling from Oshogo.
But just to cap it, I think until there is otherwise proved, until it is proved otherwise, even an alleged criminal is still innocent. So until we have facts that maybe INEC compromised in Ekiti or compromised in Osun, and we can really see it out there, but that is when we can say, okay, we can withdraw our recommendation or acknowledgement that we're giving to them. But as of today, for what they've done, for especially in Osun, it's a thumbs up for them, because I don't think any issue that has to do with Osun. I heard that okay, the results were not announced on time, but nobody could have known any reason for that.
Okay, let's listen to Rotimi before I come to you for sure. Rotimi, yeah, go ahead.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
My name is Rotimi. I'm calling from Lagos. You asked my comment to the program that is going on. I want to congratulate the people of Osun State for standing by their votes. Because if they don't stand by it, if people will rig it, elections are not rigged at the polling booth. Elections are rigged at the collation center. That is why the militarization I blame the militarization, because it is the military they use to scare other parties away at the collation center so that can rig elections. That is exactly what happened in Ekiti State. In Ekiti State, I don't doubt the fact that Fayosi can beat IME. I don't doubt that fact. But the margin wouldn't have been so high as that. IME cannot lose in all local government in Ekiti State. It's not possible. Let's be realistic in what we are saying. So what they use the military to do is to scare people away at the collation center. That's where they rig it. I congratulate the people of the state for standing by their vote. You know, the election was not announced until very, very late. They thought they could rig it at the collation center. It was not announced. It was later they were forced to make the announcement. That's where I blame the election INEC concerning that thing. Everything is transparent. Thank God for for the use of BlackBerry, the Facebook, and everything. We already know the result of the election before it was announced. That is what we should expect in 2015 if care is not taken. The president should sit tight and the INEC should sit tight. I don't blame the INEC anyway because you face the pamper, they face the shoes. It is the federal government that appointed them, and they are going to pay to the federal government. So,
all right, Rotimi. That's as much as we can take from you because of time. Let me have our guest Funsho react to these allegations. In some of the issues, Rotimi seems to be standing by you to, to say the same things.
Well,
but
if you see
these are still just allegations.
If you see it that he's standing by me, I will see that he's standing by the truth. And no matter how beaten, truth will remain standing for eternity. And like I said earlier on, let us wait for what we will see at the tribunals.
Okay, let me see, as we round up, let's try to look at this fundamental question.
Yes.
INEC and independency. How independent has INEC been in these elections? Probably I'll take from you, for sure, before we go to Mr. Shijubomi.
Well, the word independence in the name of INEC is just a matter of nomenclature, trying to identify INEC as being supposedly independent in its duties. Like the last caller said, he who pays the piper dictates the tune. When Professor Jega was first appointed as the chairman of INEC, all of us applauded him because of his antecedents. We had trust in him, we had faith in his ability, we had hope in him and in his performance. But he has settled into office. He conducted a few elections with transparency and everybody applauded him. And like I said, I still insist, the tribunals will confirm whether Professor Jega still deserves all those accolades that we gave him when he first came into office. Okay. Because he has compromised, and INEC, in so doing, he has compromised INEC.
Okay, in just 2 sentences, would you say if responsibility is expanded and INEC is able to deploy its own security forces to tell them what to do, specifically for election, we will have an election that is above 80%.
It is not possible for INEC to have its own security forces to deploy. Security forces are maintained by the government on behalf of the people. What we are saying is leave INEC to do a perfectly independent, altruistic, honest, and sincere job for this country, and let the military remain in the barracks, because we do not have antecedents of election day violence in this country. And if any government in power believes it has to put a lot of security people to an election area or out on election day or a few days to an election and a few days after it, any government that believes in such a process definitely has an ulterior motive, has a plan to rig. Even when soldiers were in power in this country, they did not deploy military out on election duties.
All right.
So why should we that have always campaigned against military incursion into governance now use the same military to harass one another on the day of elections?
Sorry, I have to cut you here because of our time. Let me give you a sentence. How independent is INEC?
INEC independency is as good as the state independent electoral commission's independency also. It happens everywhere. It's because INEC is about the federal elections. That's why we can really see their flaws and everybody addresses it every time. All the other governors in every other party in Nigeria, what happens in the local government elections?
All right, so we have to stop here because our time is over. Thank you so much, Shijubomi Devi, for coming on Core Digest. And thank you so much also, Funsho Olugunde, State Vice Chairman, APC Lagos West, for giving us your time on Core Digest. Hope when next we call on you, you oblige us the opportunity to be here. We appreciate your presence. Our viewers, that's all we can take on Core Digest. We have to round up here because of our time. Tomorrow is another day. You can tune in to be part of discussions and part of the Core Digest program that is going to take place in the morning. News on the hour will be next. I am Martins Dixon. Do have a blissful day.
What are the people saying?
Governments of today, they are taking Nigerians into a rat.
Policy should be targeted to the general public.
I mean, there's a law guiding the state. If you break the rules, you should be punished.
It's like somebody who has headache. Something happen, and there, you take action.
I know that you are going to win. I sure.
There are two sides of the coin.
When you pay a lot of tax to the pockets of the government, you expect nothing but a colossal failure.
It can still happen, eh? I will still have trust in our boys, eh? Thank you, eh?
Give them the subsidy to enjoy Nigerian resources. Nigeria are shorting. Nigeria are suffering. The masses are suffering. They should fear God.
Tell them that they don't turn this Nigeria to Sodom and Gomorrah. By the name of God, we will conquer them.
The People, only on Core TV News.